In this presentation, I will show you how to use Google Forms as a tool for assessment or as a tool for testing. It is one of many tools that Google offers in the Google Drive package. Other tools in this package is Google Document, Presentation, Spreadsheet, and Drawing. This presentation contains a brief presentation of Google Forms and its main function, the underlying ideas of assessment, and in what situations and for which groups of pupils I would consider using Google Forms. All the tools in Google Drive have something in common. They are stored in the cloud, you can easily share them with others, and you can collaborate with others. We shall now see a closer look at Google Forms. To access Drive utilities from Google, you must first establish a Google account. It provides, in addition to Google Drive, access to Gmail, Calendar, Google Maps, blogs, and so on. If you do not have a Google account, look at this video where Sven Andreas Horgen explains how you can create a Google account, and it's in Norwegian. Then you sign in and start creating a Google Forms. I will now create a Google Forms to show you the main features of this tool. Google has just launched a new and better version, so this presentation will not be like the others you will find on YouTube and so on. The new solution is better and more intuitive than the old one. It makes it easier for students to create their own forms. So here I click on Create, choose Form. The first I have to do is to make a title for the form. Here I just write Test Master. Then I can choose which theme. The default is only white, so I click down here and I choose white puppies. Okay. I have several kind of question types that I can use. Now the first one is text. So I choose text and write this is text. Now, if you want the question to be required, you just click here, click Done. Here you can see how the text question type is. This provides a plain text response from the user, a short answer, questions that require more short factual answers. The next question type is paragraph text. This is paragraph text. It's required to and done. Here you can see that this allows for a longer text response from the user. Questions that require more detailed answers. So it's multiple choice. Here I can go to page based on answers. We shall not look at this now. Option 1, I can take option 1 or 2 and option 3 and required question. Done. Here you can see how multiple choice is look like. This can be used for questions that require a response, typical questions like yes, no, what gender you are, and so on. So it's multiple choice questions. The next will be check boxes. Here too I have 3 options. Required question, done. This is a typical checkbox. When you have this question type, it's use questions that allows for multiple check marks, not like a multiple choice, where you have only one that you can choose. Next is choose from a list. Here I can have several options. It's require and done. Here you will see that the choose from a list is a drop-down box. It's similar to multiple choice, but the options you have, you get from a drop-down box. And then we have scale. We can choose what kind of label we should have. We choose 6. It's required to, and done. This question type can be used, for example, on a scale from 1 to 6, as you see here. Question: how well do you like your teacher, or something else like that. And the last one is grid. Grid, it's a kind of matrix, so we will choose 3 rows and 3 columns. The same is required and done. This question type allows you to create a matrix, as you see here. For self-assessment, it would be common use, I think. So this is the type: short text, longer text, multiple choice, checkboxes, list, scale, and grid. If you want to look how this will look like, I can click View Live Form, and this is how it is. Here you can see it's only one option to click. Here I have several options. Here is the drop-down menu. I can click on the scale and I can choose there and then submit. So this was the question types. At the bottom of the form we have a confirmation page. Here I can put in a confirmation message, and I can click to show link to submit another response, publish and show a link to the result of this form, or allow responders to edit the response after submitting. I don't think this will be any use, so I just send the form. Here I can share the form. I can share it by a link. I can share it on Google+, Facebook or Twitter. At the same time I can get an embed code, copy it and get the code into a blog, a website, or even in its learning or fronter. Or I can send an email to a name or a group. At the same time, when I'm creating a form, several students can go together and create it to collaborate. So here I can add collaborators. I can share the link, and I can see who I want to edit this form. Here can anyone with the link do it, so that's okay. So this is done. Up here, it's possible for me to create folders or put this form in a folder that I have. And there is a help function. It's a forum for help, users forum, Google community, report and issue, what's new, or keyboard shortcuts. Another great thing with Google Forms or Google Drive is that it's possible to get an application from iTunes Store that I can put in my iPhone, smartphone, or iPad, and then I can communicate and make forms from several platforms. And the students can answer Google Forms when they want and where they want. Let's see how I can process Google Forms. We can see that we now have 3 responses to this form. I'm accepting the responses. Here I can see a summary, I can choose destination, and so on. Let's first see what the summary of responses can show us. Here we will have it in called quick overview, graphical overview of it all. That brings me a very fast overview of what these 3 persons have answered. The other way is to choose response destination. Here I will get all the data from the response and have a spreadsheet as a response destination. Here I choose a new one, and I can create this spreadsheet. If I want to view the responses in the spreadsheet, I just click here, and all the answers is coming up here. The advantage of setting new spreadsheet is that it makes it possible to change, rearrange and analyze responses without affecting the original form items. Later in task 4 in this study, assessment, I will show this in more detail how such analysis can be done. The advantage of using Google Forms is that the data collected is pure raw. In that way, it's easy to analyze and manipulate data in a spreadsheet. I can use Google Form in formative assessment for learning. I can use it as a self-assessment. The traditional way to drive instruction is often to ask questions in class and let those who raise their hands respond to the check whether students understand what is covered. This method has some clear weaknesses. Among other things, I can only check a few of the class. By using Google Form as a self-assessment form, I can get a fast track of whether all students have understood it. At the same time, I can use Google Forms to reflection notes. The students make the reflection of what they are learning and so on. I can use it in feedbacks. I can use it to find what kind of opinion the students have on learning, and I can use it as a homework log. To use Google Forms provides an arena for self-assessment, reflections, and feedback on teachers' work. It gives the student an opportunity to tell me about their own learning process and motivation and development, and they can give an opinion about the teacher's ability to communicate and organize the hours. The idea is that by giving the students opportunities to voice their opinion, often can satiate the need for many students to speak up. So with Google Forms, I can let the students do self-assessment, reflections, and feedback often and effectively. This means less time spent on documentation and more time to learning work. For students, it means maybe a greater awareness of their own learning and organization of time, and less need to get out their frustration anonymously online. So in what situations and for which groups of students can I use Google Forms? Tom Barrett is a teacher in Nottinghamshire in England. He has in his blog 10 ideas for using Google Forms as an assessment tool in the classroom, beyond self-assessment, reflection and feedback. Let's have a look at his blog. This is his blog, and if you look further down here, his first idea is how to get to know your class, and that you can use the Google Forms for that. Here you can use the form, or you can get your own copy of the form. He have an idea about emotion graph. I haven't heard about that, but I think it's a marvelous idea. He says that we could use it as a comprehension questions. We can use it as prior learning assessment, and not at least learning success. So basically there should be no problem to use the tool in primary school. Tom Barrett teaches in level 5 and 6 and is a good example of that. Google Forms is really smart to make a questionnaire. Sven Andreas Horgen says that this tool is not a testing tool. And he says that it's important to distinguish between evaluation and digital tests. And he says that the test tool in learning management system as its learning offers 10 question types. The survey tool in its learning has 4. So he finds Google Form as a good alternative to the survey tool and says not a test tool. But I'm asking, what is a test? In task 4, I will look further down to see how I can use Google Drive tools as Google Forms and the others in formative assessment. And I will use this feature by William, where we can see teacher, peer, learner, where the learner is going, where the learner is right now, and how to get there. And how can we use Google Drive to stimulate this process. And this is my references. The clip from YouTube, Hvordan lage Google-konto, and from Tom Barrett. Thanks.